Alright folks, glad you can join me. Let's see if we can get right into it, because the more we don't get right into it, like what I'm doing right now, the more that I'm going to snowball into a million different avenues to talk about a million different things with you. Love you very much. You see me, I see you, because light reflects off of me and you, and we absorb some as well, and also we emit, we radiate. Okay, radiant energies and frequencies and stuff, all of which are interchangeable, all of which our formulas have proven are interchangeable and equatable and stuff, and we pick up all of these in terms of audio, visual, even emotional. Okay, all of these things help us to piece together and construct, okay, the image and stuff, right? So, so right now in this room, light is reflecting off of me and it's going to you. Correct? You with me so far? Cool. That same light is reflecting off of me in a 360-degree field. Okay? Sphere. A volume. Right? So we know that. Right now, you're looking at me, I'm looking at you. Light is bouncing off of me and it's also going this way. Correct? It's also go. How do we know that's true for a fact? Because if we took a mirror and I put the mirror right here, you would see my reflection. Sure enough, it would be bouncing here. I don't even need to look at the mirror for my reflection to be there. So it's not even about perception like that. Like I collapse all other possibilities into one. No, no, they're all there. Okay, because you could see it. Just because I'm not looking at it doesn't mean that it's not there. The light's there, right? It's reflecting and stuff. So, my point here is, without the mirror, right now, how come you don't see? How come you don't see these infinite multiple amounts of me? Or how come you don't see that? Right now. Look, I want you to take your sight now, and I want you to look just a little bit off of me, to this wall area over here. Just a little bit off. What is this space? What's this space here? We know this is bullshit. It's a space, but it's clear space, but it's not. It's like water, like a nice clear cup of water. Okay, you're looking through it, but you're never really believing that that's, you're saying to yourself, well, there's water that fills the space between here and what I'm looking through. There's water. Well, it's the same thing here. We know my light is going here. We put a mirror here, it reflects. We know my light is going this way. We know my light is going this way. When you look this way, why don't you see the same body you see right now? Why don't you see that? Well, we say, well, it's interesting, okay, because the light is in a certain type of trajectory, a certain type of path, right? A certain angle. You need the light, you need that angle to go to you. But it's right here, right? Right? It's right here, though. It's here at any given moment. Mirror, there it is. Take a mirror away, it's gone. That doesn't mean that that light that's happening disappears too. No, the light's still there, but we can't see it. We can only see light that directly, at least in our field, that's directly hitting our eyes, right? And even then, you're getting the wrong idea right there, and it's great that I just caught myself and stuff. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking, right? We get that whole field of vision, and all the field of vision consists of light that's bouncing. No. I want you to look a little bit more in detail about that field of vision that you have, right? You are still only seeing certain angles. You are still only seeing certain lines to you. You are not seeing all of them. Okay? So you see my coat rack here, right? You know it's equally coming back. Just like I explained. The coat rack, all the light reflecting off the coat rack, it's going straight to you. So you're seeing what you're seeing on the camera, but there's also the other side, the right angle to you, or close to it, that should be coming toward me. But you don't see that. But it's in your field of vision, isn't it? It's in your field of vision, but you don't see that light. You only see particular ones. Boom. Welcome to the more accurate or more specified understanding and idea of 3D world. The 3D world that we live in. We don't live entirely in a 3D world. We live in a moment. of a 3D world. We live moment for moment. We live one moment at a time in an order of a 3D world. And even still, in that moment, and a perfect example is sometimes we just, these are things that we don't think about often, or sometimes it just takes someone to come along, and it's not always going to be me, it's going to be you guys too, because I scroll through comments and stuff for each other, and I feed off of that, so it goes both ways. But, okay, in the 3D world, when you place a cube in your hand, you can't see all those sides at once. You don't have full access to 3D. You only have access to a certain amount of sides of 3D. What is it, 3 sides? 4 sides at best of the cube? Right? When you hold the cube in your hand, you can't see. You need to either walk around the cube or you need to rotate the cube. You cannot see all of the sides of the cube at once. In order to actually see all of the sides of cubes at once, you would need to actually be in a 4D position. In order to see that light of me coming here, and of the light of the coat rack coming back toward me, we may need to be in a 4D position. We may need to be in a 4D position to see the total amounts of 3D, not even to see the amounts of 4D, to see the position that we're in order to see the complete picture of the position of the place where we are interacting with, or at least having a dominant distinction here in the 3D, in the physical world. We actually need that extra dimension. We need that extra angle. 90 degrees from the 3D in the 4D. You understand that? You following me? Is that not cool? Is that what am I saying here? What am I giving you? Because when people try to tell you that you're a little bit crazy about some of these supposedly fantastical ideas, supposedly about spirit world, supposedly about these energies, things that you feel, things that you may pick up, okay, stuff that we relate to each other and things like that, well, okay, it's not as unheard of as they say. It's not as fantastical as they may try to make us out to be, and crazy to make us out to be, because we understand, very similar to that old school theory that we're only using a certain percentage of the brain, which might not entirely be true, depends on which context you're taking it in or whatever, but we may use a lot. But the point is, there's a tremendous amount of the space in the 3D world that we are actually functioning in that we're not perceiving or being able to pick up and see. That type of, that's very interesting. So what else floats around? What else has access to that and stuff? So, cool, right? So let's explore one more topic related to that. We might keep it all in one video. Maybe it's part 2 of that, whatever. But what does this room right now, what does this room really look like? Because we understand now that there really is no such thing as this empty space, okay? Definitely in terms of light, definitely in terms of the photon, right? Yeah. So we understand that there's there's no empty space. So a true, or a more accurate, or a 4D, right? Or multiple amounts of 3D even, maybe, yeah. But a 4D view of this room, okay, looking down, or more accurate, how many times am I going to... You understand, right? So it would be all of that 360 reflected light of everything flying around. Could you imagine what that looks like? Could you imagine? Okay, in our 3D type of perception and stuff, we would think that it would be like, wow, it would be sort of like blinding. It would be sort of like, you wouldn't be able to make heads or tails of it. You wouldn't be able to make distinctions. Yes and no. So long as we stick to our eyes and the way it works and stuff like that, and stuff, maybe, okay? But we need to also understand that there would still, that light behavior, or the ability to see light like that, to be able to see more of the spectrum. But it's not just, remember what I said before, it's not about just seeing more of the spectrum. It's about seeing more of the position, the space of where that spectrum is. It can just be one thing. You don't need to see the entire light spectrum, right? Or the entire electromagnetic spectrum, radiant spectrum. You don't need to see that entire one. You could just follow one. The point is gaining more access, gaining the ability to to perceive, gaining the ability to interpret, to take in, to identify the light in those other areas that we don't see right now, but we know that it's there. So this room right now, it's an explosion. But something, to make a long story short or whatever, something that exists in that type of state, a 4D entity, or an entity with more 4D access, an entity with access to more 4D positions, 4D angles to 3D, okay, they would develop, or their eyesight development naturally, if things remain consistent to, stabilizations and survival and developing, right? It would develop eyesight that would be able to be functional. So even though we would see an explosion of all of this light from every single thing cluttering the room and blinding us, the 4D entity wouldn't. The 4D entity would still be able to see the similar to the way we feel and construct and make sense and interpret. The way we interpret, it would still, but just in that much more enriched volume of information.